Hello, I am Joel Bloom at New Jersey Institute of Technology. We pride ourselves on being part of the Newark community and its advancements in technology, the economy, and the growth of the city. That's why we are very proud to partner with the Caucus Educational Corporation to produce Newark at the Crossroads right here on the NJIT campus. We hope you enjoy this special series.
Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by New Jersey Institute of Technology, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, Barnabas Health, Life is Better Healthy, TD Bank, Josh S. Weston, The Fidelco Group, and by PSC&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. Promotional support provided by NJ Biz, All Business, All New Jersey, and by New Jersey Monthly, the magazine of the Garden State, available at newsstands.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. We're coming to you from New Jersey Institute of Technology. This is Newark at the Crossroads. It is our pleasure. She was with us on Capitol Report last time, our other show. She's with us now, Evelyn Mejil. She is the executive director of a wonderful organization. It's called Wynona's House Child Advocacy Center. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me back.
Last time we talked a lot about public policy and things like that. But for those who do not know what Wynona's House is, describe it.
Sure. Wynona's House is the designated child advocacy center for Essex County, and we're located in Newark, New Jersey. However, we service all children that have been, well, at least most of the more severe cases of sexual abuse and physical abuse that are reported out into Essex County.
But Evelyn, I was just thinking about this, I was getting ready for this show. I'm thinking, we talk about Newark at a Crossroads, the name of the series. The children who are victims of violence, domestic violence, is it any different in a city like Newark, given what families face, versus a suburban, wealthier community? Is it any different, or is what a child faces and they come to you just the same?
I think that what we see with the kids in Newark is kind of sort of like just multi-layers of issues, right? A kid that is experiencing domestic violence in the home, that's witnessing domestic violence in the home, is probably also a child that's being victimized themselves, right? So they're probably victims of child abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. They're probably seeing violence in the community. They're probably also living in poverty-stricken neighborhoods.
That's a lot of layers.
So that's what you see. You see a lot of complex layers. And so a child that that comes in with an issue of domestic violence in their homes, you're not just dealing with the domestic violence in the home. You're not just dealing with, the relationship between the parents and the child. You're dealing with a lot of different things. What's going on in the community? What's their walk to school like in the morning? What did they witness? What did they see? What did they hear from their peers? And when you talk about a community like Newark, where we have a very high population, we see a lot of different things, a lot of different issues. Kids talk amongst themselves. They do. They tell each other stories. They tell what's going on in the homes. They tell each other what happened when they were walking to school. And so all of that becomes a part of what creates their character, right? All of that becomes a part of who they are and how they see the world.
How do you deal with it? I mean, I know it's a complex, you ask for a simple answer, I know there's not one. In dealing with that child at Wynona's House, is it more complicated and multifaceted, multi-layered to deal with and help that child in Newark?
It is. It is because of what I just said. Kids that come to Wynona's House are the kids that are severely sexually abused. And so we have the severely sexually abused, we have the kids that are severely physically abused. And when they come in, we're not just dealing with that, right? We're dealing with the fact that that child is probably going to get placed out of their home. So when they get placed out of their home, they go and see, they go into another home, and we see a lot.
Is that a foster home?
A foster home, right?
Because the state comes in and says.
The state comes in and says.
You cannot go back to where you were. We will we're in charge now.
We're in charge, and not all the time. If the perpetrator's in the home, if it happens to be a stepfather, a biological parent, et cetera, well, they get removed from the home. And in Newark, we have a shortage of foster care parents, right? So these kids are getting removed, and when they get removed, they're getting removed because they've been traumatized. They've already experienced something. They've already been victimized, but that is the only place they know. That is the place that they call home. So when they're getting placed somewhere else, it's almost a re-victimization. It's almost another trauma. It's another layer. And you really don't know where they're going to be placed. So that means it could be a new school setting. It could be a new community for them. It could be something as easy as moving a child from the North Ward to the South Ward, from the West Ward.
There's two different wards, for those who don't know.
Yes.
One ward in Newark is 22 square miles, and the North Ward is where I grew up, and one end of the city, and the South Ward is the other that butts up against, if you will, other communities like Irvington and other places. So the point you're trying to make here is that just within the city,
what you
those
have
are two
is
totally different communities.
Absolutely, two totally different communities.
Different cultures, different everything.
Different everything. What you have is these little subcultures that end up dividing people, right? And then it's just a whole new system for the children to have to learn, whether it be a school system, a neighborhood system, et cetera. That's in top of the trauma that they're already living. That's already in top of, the victimization, already in top of like being sexually abused, being, taken away from the parent, the biological parents, or the settings, their siblings. Most of these kids are not just, one child in the home. They have siblings. And when you take them apart and you put them in different homes, that's another layer of trauma.
Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting, Evelyn, but I was just thinking about this. When the funding for your organization was at risk a couple of years ago, and we did some programming about this on Capital Report, and a lot of others jumped in and tried to understand what was happening. I thought to myself, so Wynona's house, named after the great Senator Wynona Lippman, who represented the city of Newark in the state Senate, a trailblazer, which is not even doing justice to who and what she was, the late Senator Lippman, who fought for these children before anyone even talked about them. But that being said, I asked myself, if Wynona's house or organizations like Wynona's house were not there for these children, well then, who would take them in?
Well, this is very interesting. I mean, traditionally, a child that's been victimized, right? You call NJ abuse. You report the case to the department,
state government,
to the Department of Children and Families.
That's right.
That case, that child will go to the police department. Hopefully, they would get some type of medical and mental health treatment. Not all the time. Maybe they get one type of treatment, maybe not another, maybe medical, maybe not the mental health, maybe not ongoing. And so places and agencies like Wynona's house, CACs, right, Child Advocacy Center, are so important and so crucial. Because what we're talking about, when you're talking about Newark at a crossroads, you're talking about the different types of issues that we continue to face in Newark, right? The different challenges that we continue to face in Newark. Things like juvenile delinquency, things like, poor academic performance, high school dropout rates, et cetera, gang violence, right? But what you're talking about, it's not the problem itself. Most of these problems, what we call problems and challenges, they're just symptoms of the core issues that we have not addressed. I constantly keep saying, if we look at the research will tell you child abuse and neglect will often lead to juvenile delinquency. It will often lead to mental health issues. It will often lead to poor academic success. The challenges that we're talking about, that we continue to wrap our brains around and say, well, what is the strategy? How do we target this? How do we minimize? How do we drop the delinquency rate in the city of Newark? How do we, keep the kids involved? All of those things that we continue to wrap our heads around and try to find out, some solutions, we're missing the core issues. These kids have untreated trauma. They have been victimized early in childhood, and that trauma has not been treated, and therefore you're seeing a manifestation of that trauma one way or another, whether it be in the schools or in the streets when they're committing crimes, or when they're becoming, part of a gang because they're missing a family, because that very core system is not there for them.
Before I let you out here, why is this so personal for you?
Why is it so personal for me? I've dedicated about 18 years of my life into this field, but I also have my own personal history. And as a survivor, I think that I have both a professional and academic background on it, but I have the insight of what it is to be traumatized early in childhood, what that can do for you. And I've had, many blessings in my life, and I think that I am highly favored in that sense in terms of being here, but I don't think that many kids have that opportunity. I want kids to feel that they can have that opportunity, that because they've been traumatized, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is their destiny, that somehow forms or shapes what they're going to become or they should become in the future. And I think that children need to know that. But in order for the kids to know that, there has to be an adult that tells them that. There has to be an adult that takes responsibility for our kids. There has to be an adult that says, you can and you will, and I am going to give you access, opportunity, and I am going to allow you to succeed. And so that's what we need to do as leaders. We need to go back and we need to tell our children they have hope. So I think that me going back and being able to do this work is very gratifying, both professionally and personally. And I think that more leaders and more people need to kind of sort of unite and understand that child abuse and neglect, it's a very urgent issue, and we need to adhere to that. We need to respond to that.
Keep doing it, Evelyn.
Thank you.
And we'll keep having you on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stay right there. We'll continue from the campus of NJIT at Newark at a Crossroads right after this. Thank you.
Thank you.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Ronald Chen is acting dean at Rutgers School of Law in Newark. Good to see you, Ron.
Good to be here, Steve.
Ron, you know the city well. You came here when?
I entered here as a first-year law student in the fall of 1980, 34 years ago.
How much has it changed in 34 years?
A lot, I got to say. When I entered here, I grew up in suburban New Jersey, but like a lot of people who grew up in suburban New Jersey, I didn't set foot in Newark a lot until I came to law school here. And at the time, you could probably still see debris from the riots of '68. And since then, it has, not to overuse the term, it has undergone quite a bit of a renaissance. And it's like all cities, it has great challenges, but it's also got great potential and great vibrancy. And I've worked here on and off for over 30 years, and I think it's going upward.
Well, you know it well, but one of the challenges I want to talk to you about, and the biggest reason I want to have you in here is you understand police-citizen relations, police conduct, if you will. You also understand housing issue and immigration rights, et cetera. But the federal government stepped in. The U.S. Attorney, Paul Fishman, announced that the federal government had released a report. The ACLU, which you know well, American Civil Liberties Union, brought a case many years ago, said the police were disproportionately treating blacks and Hispanics a certain way, stop, frisk, et cetera. The federal government said, yep, there's a problem. What did they say?
Well, as you noted, the ACLU issued a report noting that the stop and frisk procedures.
Describe stop and frisk.
Well, it's basically.
They stopping me, by the way?
They're probably not stopping you.
Probably not stopping you.
No, in 34 years, I've never been stopped, but
Same here.
They stop a very high number of people for no apparent reason. And what the Department of Justice report said is that their study showed that 75% of those stops were unconstitutional. There was no reason. And in order for a police officer to stop a citizen, even temporarily, there has to be some suspicion of criminal activity going on. They found that 75% of them, there was none. So that's a little bit disturbing. It's more than a little bit disturbing. And this is not something that it grew up overnight. This has been a problem in police community relations for decades. But it's now coming to a head, and I'm glad it's getting the attention that it deserves. There have been a lot of organizations, the ACLU, with which I'm affiliated, being one of them, trying to put police community relations on a more solid path, so that the community members shouldn't fear when a police officer approaches them.
But they do.
They do.
A disproportionate. Listen, not across the board, not in every case, and probably not in most cases. But the question is this. If a federal monitor isn't coming in, right? That's happening.
Yes.
Federal monitor's coming in. What would that mean in terms of the police department in the city of Newark interacting with the community, particularly in Black and Hispanic neighborhoods. What does a federal monitor do? Travel in a police car with cops?
A federal monitor, him or herself, cannot do this. This has got to be something that the police officials, the city, and the community have to work on together. He can help implement procedures, processes. Like one thing, for instance, I'll tell you the ACLU.
But before we go any further, Jackie, thank you for reminding us. Jackie, our producer, just reminded me. One of the things that we're not making clear is that they're disproportionately stopping Blacks and Latinos, and that if Blacks make up what percentage of the population in Newark?
A little over 50%.
And the number of people who were stopped in Newark by percentage of Blacks
was in the mid-70s.
So that doesn't add up.
It was disproportionate to the population of the
Plus,
of the city.
A significant number of cases were settled out of court, and the police department were settling these cases of Blacks who were saying, other minorities were saying that they were physically manhandled, by the cops. And the cops were like, listen, we're going to make a payment. And they found out that out-of-court settlements. No? Am I mistaken there?
Yeah, there are quite a few. And I think the big thing that can remedy this situation is transparency.
Go ahead.
Openness.
What does the federal monitor help that?
One thing that I want to praise the Newark Police Department for doing is agreeing to make regular reports.
Good.
How many complaints? What were their disposition? And they've started doing this, and they're doing it publicly, so people can look at it and see this doesn't look right, and it can give they can give advice on the police department on where they might look to have more protective procedures. Obviously, one institution that a lot of people are pushing for, that I don't know if the police department is ready yet to accept, but we hope they'll consider, is some civilian complaint review board, some process, some external process to have them look at that with some teeth in it, subpoena power, maybe even the power to discipline police officers. Of course, I think we all believe and know that the majority of our police officers are...
The vast majority
are really there to protect us. They're doing their job. Like any element in human beings, there are some that make mistakes, and there may be some who are not doing their job right. That happens in every human institution, but police officers, of course, we want to be especially certain that their behavior is such that they maintain the trust of the community.
Also because it has a lot to do with potential problems that could happen and, incidents that could, listen, we don't need to go into detail. We've seen them across this country. Shifting gears real quick, immigration policy?
Yeah, well, as a segue into that, one thing I'd also praise the Newark Police Department. They've decided that in order to maintain relationships with the community, they're not going to, for instance, honor what are called ICE detainers.
Yes, ICE is federal.
ICE is the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, one of the successors to the old INS.
Right. Immigration Naturalization Service.
Right. That often asks local police officers, hey, we want you to hold on to someone who may have been arrested for some reason, but then sometimes there's no reason to hold them anymore. They've made bail. There's no reason to arrest them because they're not guilty of a criminal offense. But ICE would sometimes say, hold them for another 48 hours while we determine whether we want to hold them. Newark has said, the police director issued a directive saying we're not going to do that anymore. And of course, the federal government cannot make local law enforcement do their bidding for them. It's unconstitutional. And I did that for a number of reasons, I believe. But one is that, again, the police department needs to have a relationship of trust with the local community, particularly the local immigrant community. And they can only do that because it's their job to provide for primary safety and on the street safety. And they can't do that if the community doesn't trust them and thinks that they are basically doing federal immigration law enforcement. So I think that's a very positive issue. Newark's population, for the first time in the 2010 census, has started to grow, which is a very good sign. Not a lot.
It was declining for decade after decade.
It's been declining for decades, and like a lot of urban areas, it was a source of great concern about urban decay. And a lot of that growth, both in New Jersey and in Newark, is due to the immigrant population. We have a very vibrant immigrant population.
Particularly in the Ironbound.
Ironbound is the perfect example of where an immigrant community is taken over, and really, Newark, unlike some cities, has a real nightlife, a pulse to it at night. You can go into the Ironbound,
absolutely,
have dinner, got the arena, got the Performing Arts Center.
Great.
Yeah.
Actually, we have several guests in this series, Newark at Crossroads, that are talking about the Ironbound. Yeah. But Ron, listen, next time, I want to have you on our sister series, Capital Report, to talk also about housing policy and affordable housing issues and put things in perspective for us. But Ron Chen is the acting dean of Rutgers School of Law in Newark, part of the academic community here, the higher ed community in the city of Newark. Ron, thank you, Ron, for joining us.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. Stay right there. We are here in Newark at NJIT talking about Newark at a Crossroads. I'm Steve Adubato. Be right back right after this. Thanks, Ron.
Sure.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Paul Scire is the CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Newark. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You got history with this organization, right? You last 8 years, you said you've been with Boys and Girls Club?
I've been with the Boys and Girls Club for a total of 8 years, and for the past year and a half here in Newark. Yeah.
Let's talk about Newark. Let's talk about what you do for these young men and women. I know the organization well. Our family's been connected to it for a long time.
Absolutely.
I tell you, you know, my grandfather, whom I never knew, my father's dad, was the head of the first boys club in the city of Newark, Mike Adubato.
That's right.
And so I used to hear about it, and then I joined. My boys club is closed.
Yeah.
The Broadway branch, right?
Right.
That's another story. What do you guys do for kids? I know what you did for me.
Well, I mean, fundamentally, we keep kids safe. It's a place for a kid to go after school at 3 o'clock and to be safe and in a positive environment. So that's what we do, which is very basic. Beyond that, though, what we want to do is help shape these young people into caring, responsible adults. And so we have a number of programs that we employ to achieve that goal.
One example.
Academic success, right? You can't be successful without being a good student. And so we know that many of the kids here in Newark are struggling in the classroom. And so what we try to do is give them the support and the encouragement they need to be better students, working on things like reading and math, so that when they get back to the classroom, they have a better chance at getting higher grades, achieving on-time grade advancement, and ultimately graduating from high school and hopefully considering some college.
The other piece is the health side.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Talk about what you do for these kids.
Well, you know, a couple things. Healthy lifestyles, you know, so trying to ingrain in young people the value of regular exercise, of eating right, and of avoiding, you know, harmful substances. So that's one piece.
What about the dental care?
Yeah, so that's the other side of it, right? So what makes our Boys and Girls Club quite unique, we're the only Boys and Girls Club in the state of New Jersey and only one in a handful of clubs around the country to offer free pediatric dental care to children. Yeah, so we have a dental center right in the Central Ward Clubhouse.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
For those who don't understand or appreciate this, you were telling me before we got on there, you grew up in Hudson County, Hoboken area, right?
Yeah.
What do kids in this city face? What kinds of challenges?
Oh, well, in a city like Newark, unfortunately, it's a tough place to be a kid. There's a lot of danger, you know, after school or in the summer months when children are, unfortunately, often left unattended. So, you know, again, you know, it's so important for us to be able to provide that safe space for a child. There are drugs, as you know, on the street, and where there are drugs, there are guns and violence. And so, you know, being able to give an alternative to children and keep them off the streets during those hours is so important.
Now, the funding for the Boys and Girls Clubs, one of the people who has been incredibly supportive, I remember a couple of years ago, we had a fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Clubs. And then Ray Chambers,
Yeah.
For those who don't know, there would not be a New Jersey Performing Arts Center if Ray Chambers, the great philanthropist, were not involved. And the Boys and Girls Clubs, I don't know where you guys would be without Ray Chambers.
Absolutely.
But Ray got some of us involved in a fundraiser at NJPAC, and Shaquille O'Neal was there, and he was shooting foul shots. And I remember what we were doing is he was challenging people.
Right, right.
And he said, Steve, let's egg people on. We're 10 grand a shot. We raised a ton of money. He raised a ton of money. I just had a microphone. Point being, Shaquille O'Neal is a product of the Boys and Girls Clubs. Queen Latifah is a product of the Boys and Girls Club. I don't think people have any idea. By the way, Denzel Washington, right, up in Westchester County in Yonkers.
Mount Vernon.
That's right,
That's right.
in Mount Vernon. it has been a place for so many people who have done so many great things. I don't know if they would have done those great things if it were not for this organization.
Well, it's true, and Shaquille comes back time and time again to give back to the community and to be a presence at our Boys and Girls Club. You know, he attended the Boys and Girls Club in the Central Ward and says regularly that he owes so much to the Boys and Girls Club for, you know, his success when he was a young man. You mentioned Queen Latifah, but there are so many other people that have achieved success that are not as well known. So, you know, we point to people like Shavar Jeffries, for example, who's well known here in Newark. You know, a kid that came to the club, suffered a terrible tragedy.
Mom, right?
Yeah, you know, his mom was killed. His dad was out of the picture. His grandmother was raising him. And
so the Boys Club saved him.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, his grandma brought him to the Boys and Girls Club and said, "Help take care of my young man here." And you know, he went through the Boys and Girls Club, and we'd like to say that we share in a little part of his success, and we're so proud of him.
And you have to raise money like most nonprofits like us all the time, right?
Yeah.
So by the way, folks, as you're watching this segment, if you want to find out more, by the way, what's the website people should go to?
www.bgcn.org.
Do it again.
www.bgcn.org.
Before I let you out of here, Newark at a crossroads. These kids are at a crossroads. Boys and Girls Clubs have played a great role in that. Biggest satisfaction, greatest satisfaction you get out of your work with these kids?
Oh, each and every day, you know, just being able to provide a little bit of hope and opportunity to the children. You know, the kids are great kids. 99.9% of the kids that we see are incredible young people, and they just need a little, you know, TLC in order to set them in the right direction.
Well, the Boys and Girls Clubs have been doing it for a long time, and we appreciate the work that you and your colleagues have been doing, and we look forward to the impact you're going to continue to make, because if Newark has a future, and we're confident that it does have a bright future, beyond all the buildings and success and the higher ed things that are happening, it's got to happen for those kids, and without the Boys and Girls Clubs, it just won't. So keep it up, you and your colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by New Jersey Institute of Technology, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, Barnabas Health, TD Bank, Josh S. Weston, the Fidelco Group, and by PSE&G. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
At Barnabas Health, nothing is more important than your health. So we've assembled an enormous array of resources to heal those in need of care. Doctors, nurses, amazing technology. Yet for all we do to heal the sick, we do as much to strengthen the healthy, with innovative programs designed in the hope that you won't need our extraordinary medical care in the first place. Barnabas Health. Life is better healthy.